I'm Euan Youdale, editor of Access International magazine. I'm here at the Haulotte stand at Intermat 2015. Haulotte's celebrating its 30th anniversary here at the show, and Pierre Saubot, who started the company back in 1985, agreed to talk to me. And I started off by asking him why he decided to form an access equipment company all those years ago.
Well, you know, in 1985, the market in North America was beginning since 15 years. In Europe, the only market was in UK, and the rest of Europe, there was quite no market. So with my team, we discovered the access business, and we decided to be the first European manufacturer in continental Europe, because everything was empty and available for us. That was the main reason of the selection of the product we launched at that time.
So can you expand a little bit on some of those early experiences before Haulotte began?
Before I bought Pingeli and Haulotte in 1985, I have been very lucky to spend a few years with Bergeron Noyer, who was a Caterpillar dealer in France. And I learned at that time how important was the design and quality of the products, the sales organization, and the service organization. And during those few years, I learned the basic of our business. Later on, I became a manufacturer in farm equipment, and I was very happy to develop some products, and I learned how important it was to have a good design, because that's the first step to develop an industrial company.
And what were the challenges that you found in those early days of the company?
Well, you know, when you start a new product in an old company, changing the habits, when there is no market in continental Europe, you have to do everything at the same time. You have to reorganize the manufacturing. You have to adapt the design of American products to the habits of continental Europe. You have to check what is the situation of safety regulation. You have to find the finance. You have to find the customers. So it takes time, and you have to do that everything at the same time. Very interesting, but sometimes a little bit challenging.
What were your earliest machines, and how do they differ from the machines that you find in today's access industry?
Well, when we started, we preferred not to invent new products. We tried to copy what was happening in the States. So the three main products we had at that time was a rough terrain diesel scissor lift of roughly 10 meters. We had a telescopic machine of 20 meters, 21 meters, and a narrow for industrial application. The machine was called H46N for narrow. It was a machine with a diesel engine but working inside. Three main products we had at that time. The demand was there, and coming from that, step by step, we developed our own range, fitting the requirements of continental Europe. Habits were a little bit different, and mainly we started manufacturing an articulated machine of 15-16 meters, because construction in the States is mainly in steel. In continental Europe, it's mainly in concrete. And it was more demand for articulated machine of 16 meters than in telescopic machine of 16 meters in Europe.
What is your favorite ever aerial work platform?
Well, we have been very lucky with HA15, 15-meter articulated machine. But the most fantastic machine we launched in 1994 was the HA20. Because we felt that with the success of the 15 working 8 machine, we have been the first imagining that it was possible to find a market for a 20-meter machine. We were really the first, It was a 4x4x4 machine going everywhere. And being the first, we created the market. Everybody wanted because it was a fantastic machine. And before the competition come, we had some very, very good ideas. And we have always been ahead of the competition with that 20-meter articulated machine.
Did you ever expect Haulotte to grow to be such a large company?
Well, I've been very surprised having a meeting in California with a specialist of marketing. I met the guy and he told me it was in 1990. At that time the world market was less than 10,000 machines. We were by ourselves manufacturing probably less than 200 machines. And he told me during that meeting that in his forecast, within the next 10 years, the worldwide market would be over 100,000 machines. I was so astonished listening that figure that at the moment I felt he's dreaming. But on the way back to France with a long flight, I felt maybe he's right. And if he's right, how can we manage to be in a good position on such a quick developing market, fast developing market? And he was right. The worldwide market within the 10 years was close to 100,000 machines. So, you know, when you are starting with a very small company, on one side, you feel everything is fast. But on the other side, when you have to find the good design, find the good suppliers, find the good customers, find the good people, find the financing, sometimes you feel that days are more than 22 hours a day, and weeks are more than 7 days, and years more than 365 days. So it's a balance. Everything is quick, everything seems fast, and on a day-to-day basis, you feel that it's very long.
So what is the secret to creating one of the world's biggest aerial work platform manufacturers?
First, you have to be lucky. Secondly, you have to find market when the competition is not too tough. It's difficult for everybody to be everywhere in the world. So if you always follow the leaders, being on the same market, you remain a follower. To find new markets with new products, which are not facing exactly the competition, you have to decide to find them, and you need to be lucky. That's what happened to us. After that, you have to need a very good dedicated team, and you have to work much more than 24 hours a day.
Do you have a story that might sum up the journey that you've made over the last 30 years with Haulotte?
Well, I have some souvenirs at the very beginning. I mentioned the 10-meter scissor lift diesel, which was a rough terrain, diesel scissor lift. At that time, we were in a position to invent a new product, so we bought a license of one of our American competitors, and we made a real copy of the American products. And when we launched the first 10 machines to selected customers, the first thing they told us after a few days, well, we have a problem. We cannot climb our trailers with your machine. They are not power enough. That's not good. We got back the 10 machines in the factory. We had a meeting with the main people, which was less than 10 people. What's happening? Maybe did we make a good copy? And we made a good copy. Well, why do the customers ask that? And we found that it was very easy to modify a little bit the machine to be able to climb the trailers. So we made the modification within a few days because it was very simple. We put back the 10 machine to our selected customers, and they told us, now that's fantastic, we can deliver the machine to the job sites because your machine climbed the trailers. So we were very happy to have been able to solve the problem, and we told them, what's happening? Because we feel that we are producing exactly the same machine as the machine you are acquainted with. And they told us, it was in France, and they told us, yes, but we said the same thing to your competitors, but they didn't want to make the modification. It was only a few months later that we realized that the habits in the States was to have, for that kind of machine, small trucks with basculating, so they have not the same problem because they had small drums to put the machine on the truck. So they had not a problem, so they didn't want to modify the machine, which were fitting the American market, to answer the problem of European competitors, of customers. So we made the difference, and starting from that, we had a very good expansion, showing our customers in Europe that we were able to listen to them and find solutions fitting their habits.
And what has been your most difficult experience in those 30 years?
To create confidence when you come, even if we were the only one significant European manufacturer. There were, in fact, in UK some others, but in continental Europe, we have been really the first one. But we had big competitors in the States. Some have disappeared, some are still there. To create confidence with customers is longer than we should have been happy with, but it's longer. And if you want to stay on a new business, even coming from the crane business, we were already a little bit in the business, it's very long. Always longer than we should like.
And what has been the most difficult experience in those 30 years?
Again, if I consider the time we spent since the beginning to participate to all the meetings, to write a good safety regulation. When I mean safety regulation, is safety on the customer side and safety on the manufacturer side. It's long. It's long. And even if you are in a business where you bring a lot of productivity, to change the habits of users, final users, to come from ladders, to come from self-scaffolding to access machine, it's very difficult. And you need the help of regulation to, at a certain moment, oblige the final user to change the habits. It's long. And it's so long that, but maybe I shall answer that, tell that later on. But we have a lot of people. We did not succeed yet to change the habits. The potential of the customer's development is fantastic. Even coming this morning, in the I was seeing at the station here, coming outside of the train, I saw a guy who was working on a ladder. I think it should have used an access machine. It would have been better for him and for us.
Are you surprised at how quickly the world has embraced access equipment, or do you think it could have happened more quickly in some of those emerging markets, for example?
Well, today the market begins to be the beginning of being mature. There will be a lot of other steps. But today, our customers are waiting for more intelligent machine. They need, when they get inside a machine, not to think, how shall I use a machine? They want to have a control box very easy to understand. They are looking for more and more standardized to find the same level on the same side, even if they are on one of our machines of one of our competitors. Today, when you take a car, the accelerator is always foot pedal on the right side, the brake is on, so the steering wheel is in the same place. You don't want to have to find the accelerator somewhere with one manufacturer and somewhere else with other manufacturer. I think that the mentality for our customers, final user, is changing. They are asking us to be sure that everything is standardized. When they have a failure, which can happen, they need help to understand what is the failure coming, what is the failure, where it is coming from, to have a computer on the machine to help them understanding if they make a mistake. They have just to turn a button to put back the machine on work. They want to fix the situation very quickly. So if they can use their telephone to send a message to the manufacturer telling, I am at 20 meters, machine doesn't work, can you help me fixing the problem within the next few seconds, just not moving and telling me what I have to do. They are waiting for that from us, and we are on the way, not exactly as far as we should like, but the machine we show this year are really on that way.
How do your new products you're showing here at Intermat today reflect the modern access equipment industry?
New material to make lighter machines, new power to have a machine making less noise or less pollution. Everything which will help us improving that will be fantastic. Customers want to go higher with more overhead. When they are working inside the building, they want machine with a good autonomy, making no noise, producing no pollution, no bad smelling. We have a lot of things to improve. We are on the first step to improve that. And we are working with our suppliers to find new solutions. At the same time, customers want to use a machine like they want, not always respecting all the standards. And even with doing that, they want to be safe in the machine. When they are in the machine, and we need the machine to be safe with the next user. So all we can do to have safe machine for each user to see what can become wrong before there is a failure. That's our job, to anticipate that. We do our best today with the state of the art, but we have a lot of things to improve.
Lots of people talk about bigger and bigger booms, but what do you think is going to be the most important design elements in the future for access equipment?
I'm coming from the crane industry. I knew the period of lattice boom cranes. And when the telescopic cranes arrived, everybody wanted to move on that. And at a certain moment, the limit between lattice boom type and telescopic cranes was 30 meters, then 50 meters, then 100 meters. Now we are in a situation which is a little bit paradoxal in crane business, that to make very, very big telescopic machine, you need as many trucks to move all the elements, and you need as much time to assemble the machine as when you had lattice boom type. So the limit is the state of the art. The pressure of the final user is to have the bigger machine we can make. The limit is that we make machine self-propelled, which means that they have been to transport from one job site to another on trucks. If it takes 3 weeks to have the authorization to move the machine from one job site to another, what is the use of having a self-propelled machine? So the limit of big machine is a state of the art. If we find new material allowing to have lighter machine going higher, but within the limit of 3 meters in Europe, within the limit of 45 tons in, I beg your pardon, 25 tons in Europe, the bigger, the better. The limit is there.
So what's Haulotte's strategy for the future? For example, Haulotte last year sold UK platforms and has an increase in the North American markets. So how do you see the future?
Haulotte is basically a designer, manufacturer and seller of self-propelled machine in access business, all size, from the smaller to the bigger. But when we feel that in a market we need to do something more than being a designer, manufacturer, seller company, we do it as long as it's necessary to convince the market that access business has to be developed and that we have the best machine for that market. When we are convinced that somebody else can do better than us as a rental company or as a final user, we go back to our basic business. As long as we consider that somewhere we have to do more than being a manufacturer, we shall do it.
So how do you think access equipment manufacturing will develop in general in the future? Maybe more consolidation, more local manufacturing or hybrid equipment?
That's life. There will be change. You know, who should have thought that Kodak was supposed to disappear as a photo manufacturer? So there will be new manufacturer. There will be new rental companies. There will be new application. There will be consolidation on the manufacturer side. There will be consolidation on the rental side. Everything will happen. That's life of our industry, like it is life in all industry. And as Pengelly Haulotte, as a manufacturer, as Haulotte Group, as a brand name operator in access business, we started in 1881. Generally speaking, we started 30 years ago in access business, and we are concentrated to do that as long as possible.
Thank you very much, Pierre, for talking to me today, and congratulations again on your 30 years with Haulotte, and I hope the next 30 years are just as successful. We will now take a look at some of the new products to be found on Haulotte's stand.
Here we have the HA20 RTJ Pro, which is a brand new articulated machine that we have our range, which is the great sister of the 16 meters that we launched last year. And of course, we increase our productivity. We also changed a brand new basket with much more tool tray for the operators. And we have now the new active screen for the after sales and servicing of the machine. And a brand new approach as well of the articulated pins and bushings to improve the durability of the machine. So the Starten is one of our best seller in the Haulotte range. It belongs to the top 3 for years now, and we completely renew this machine. We upgraded it more than 80% of the components inside to bring much more productivity, and the brand new component is a new AC engine, which is now purely electrical engine, even including the lift, of course, with much more productivity for the operators inside the platform, with a brand new dashboard and much more flexibility when using the machine in narrow spaces. So the Optimum 8 is the best sold machine in the electric scissor range of 8 meters, with a brand new engine, a brand new motor, AC motor, brushless, which is exclusive for this range of electric scissors within the competition world at the moment. Which is a machine which is fully electrical driven, including the lift, and with much more protection for the operators and much more flexibility in aerospace.